Dana with the data. Dana with the data.
Hi guys, listen, I am back with P Ray. Hi everybody, happy Saturday. And today I wanted to do a recap of Reverend Jesse Jackson funeral that was held Friday and today on Saturday. It's been over a week of celebrations, and rightfully so. And I wanted to bring P. Ray on. Of course, she is running for Congress in the state of Illinois, District 7. But I wanted to also bring her on to talk about the funeral because she was there. Hey, P. Ray.
Hi, Miss Dana. How you feeling today? Happy Saturday.
I'm doing good. So listen, let's just get right into it because I'm going to play some clips. I found it very disrespectful what went down at the funeral, and I'm calling them the Three Stooges. That would be Obama, Kamala, and Al Sharpton. I want to play this clip of Reverend Jesse Jackson's son first, and then,
Jesse Jackson Jr.
Right, Jesse Jackson Jr. I want to play a clip of him first, and then talk about why the Three Stooges did the total opposite, and then have you give us a firsthand account on the funeral services that was held yesterday.
Dad believed that funerals were not for the dearly departed. He believed funerals were for the living. He believed that they were great gathering meetings, and no two lives in human history will have the same number of people attending their funerals, or the same people will be at their funerals, because your friends ain't my friends ain't your friends. We don't know the same people. You don't know the same people that I know. Do not bring your politics out of respect to Reverend Jesse Jackson and the life that he lived to these homegoing services. Right. Come respectful and come to say thank you. But these homegoing services are welcome to all. Democrat, Republican, liberal, and conservative, right wing, left wing, because his life is broad enough to cover the full spectrum of what it means to be an American. We only ask people to come and be respectful in the context of the extraordinary life that he lived. Dad would have wanted us to have a great meeting to discuss our differences, to find ways of moving forward and moving together. And if his life becomes a turning point in our national political discourse, amen. Amen.
First things first, again, thank you for having me here. Shout out to the great city of Chicago. Dana, you are super hyper popular in the city of Chicago. When I walk around Black Chicago, they don't say, are you P. Ray from Fox or you P. Ray from Newsmax, One American News Network? They say, you P. Ray from Dana's show. So yes, Dana, you are popular in these streets. However, so for me, it was a good Baptist funeral until they got started. When I initially got there, they had the choir going, people were coming in, the doors opened at 9, but this black folks, so it really didn't start until about 11, which is great. However, we came in initially, and guess who I walked in the door with? Kamala Harris. So I'm walking in the door, she's walking in the door, so I look over, I'm like, oh, hey, Soror, good morning. She like, good morning, Soror. I'm like, welcome to Chicago. She's like, welcome to Chicago. So, that was good. And for me, that was a great exchange, because when we were checking in, the girl who was checking us in was like, whoa, what a flex. You just had a conversation with the vice president. And I'm like, I don't see her like that. That's my sorority sister. Because one thing that happened during the campaign that I was very clear about is that I was never going to talk under her clothes. Don't call me for that. I don't do that. I'm here for politics. So to see her was like a sign from God and Jesse Jackson to say, like, this is going to be a good bipartisan space. So I thought it was going to be. And so we walk in, and I saw Gavin Newsom. So when I saw Gavin Newsom, I kind of knew what was going to be up. And then my manager was like, yo, go take a picture with Gavin Newsom. I'm like, I ain't gonna take a picture with Gavin Newsom. I'm the Republican candidate. These people will go crazy. We're not doing that. But again, I can kind of see how all of this was kind of slowly congealing. And so it started, they did their prayers. Even in the prayer, when it first got going, I think it was, I left the obituary on my bed, but the first preacher that came out, he talked about like Republican, the demon in the White House, blah, 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 blah. So I nudged my manager and I say, now here we go. Now, the best part of this was when I met Tyler Perry. Shout out to Tyler Perry. We were kind of walking around trying to figure out where we were going to sit. And I heard a lot of commotion behind me. I turned around and there go Medea. But of course, he is Tyler Perry. So I went up to him. I shook his hand, greeted him, told him welcome to Chicago, all that stuff. We kept it moving. Now, this is where things, again, start to go a little to the left. We had multiple people came up to pray. We had someone who came up and they started talking about the issues in the Middle East. And you know how we should like stick together, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh Lord, here we go for real. I would say that Judge Mathis gave the best speech because he did not center it around politics. He talked about how the Reverend helped him, how he met him when he was 17 years old as a gangbanger. He told, if you're gonna hang out with me, you got to put your guns down and pick up your books. So Reverend J.C. Jackson was like super instrumental in helping Judge Mathis become who he is today. So that one was super sincere. After that, it was all downhill from there. We had people coming up again, talking about the president, talking about the Republicans, how the country is going down, this, that, and the third. So when it first got started, I'm like, I don't want to hear this. So I got up and I went to the bathroom. And so when I came out of the bathroom, I saw this man walking with this.
Hey, hold on, because you said you got up when he started speaking.
Twice. I got up twice. So this is the first time I got up. So, because when it first, like I said, it was starting to build up. And I'm like, I don't want to hear this. So I get up, I go to the bathroom, I go to the hospitality room, and it's filled. So that said to me too, that other people did not want to hear that, Dana. Nobody wanted to hear that. And guess who I ran into in the hospitality room? Omarosa. So I'm like, Omarosa, oh my God. Like, you know, so she and I spoke because, you know, she worked with the Trump administration as well. So I was telling her what I'm on, what I'm doing, all this stuff. I had sent her a couple's cookbook when she got married. I asked if she got it. So that was a good time. But who also was in the hospitality room with us was Jesse Jackson Jr. Because I'm sitting there, you know, again, politicking, doing my thing, and he shouts in the room, and there go P. Ray over there eating up our food. So then that made everybody look at me, and I'm like, hey, Mr. Congressman, but that was a good thing too, because I was acknowledged by him, which then opened the networking for me in this space. But the fact that he was in the hospitality room and not sitting in the services means that he too was turned off by the messaging that was coming in, or maybe he just wanted a snack. I don't know, but he was back there with us. And so I went back into the sanctuary. At that time, Barack Obama was being introduced by Reverend James Meeks, who used to be a state senator. Yes, ma'am.
I want to play the beginning of
go ahead.
Obama. So this is Obama walking up to the podium. It's like Showtime at the Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to be home. I love you back. The book of Isaiah. Where are you at? Now, see, I believe in the Constitution. The book of Isaiah God is looking for a messenger.
Go ahead, P. Ray.
So at that point, that's when I walked out. Because again, number one, you're not the messenger, sir. You were the president of the United States of America for 8 years. The people who were in that sanctuary at Salem Baptist Church, many of them lost their housing and their wealth because of the mismanagement of the housing crisis due to Barack Obama. He bailed out the banks and he took the houses. There are people in that room right now who are being displaced by that monstrosity over there at Washington Park, and their rents are going up. He would not sign a community benefits agreement with them to make sure that they were not displaced and gentrified out of the area. But now everybody's in there like, whoa, Obama! So at that point, I'm like, oh, heck no. So I get up and I walk out again. So as I'm walking out, this lady stops me and she's like, baby, where you going? And I'm like, ma'am, I don't want to hear this. I'm a Jesus in the temple kind of Christian, okay? Jesus would have turned this bad boy out if he was here, okay? This is not what they do. This is not what I'm on. But in this messaging, what Barack Obama said is that he is the messenger. He's the one that God has chosen, all this kind of stuff. What I believe is that Barack Obama is on his way back to Chicago to tame the unruly Negroes who are fighting against the Democratic Party. Because now there is a power vacuum. The way that people were politicking in that room, people moving around, trying to be seen, trying to get to the front, no wristband on, but I'm so-and-so. Everybody sees now that this is their chance to try to become the new Jesse Jackson. And I'm saying here today that Black Chicago does not want Barack Obama. Now, yes, the elders were in the room and they were screaming and they were yelling and all that kind of stuff, but Barack Obama would not get that type of response from people, who are millennials and Gen Xers and all that. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, I want to play a little bit of his speech.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't want to get too deep into it.
Yeah, it's about 2 minutes.
We are living in a time when it can be hard to hope. Each day we wake up to some new assault on our democratic institutions. Another setback to the idea of the rule of law. An offense to common decency. Every day you wake up to things you just didn't think were possible. Each day we're told by those in high office to fear each other and to turn on each other, and that some Americans count more than others, and that some don't even count at all. Everywhere we see greed and bigotry being celebrated, and bullying and mockery masquerading as strength. We see science and expertise denigrated, while ignorance and dishonesty and cruelty and corruption are reaping untold rewards. Every single day we see that, and it's hard to hope. It may be tempting for some to compromise with power and grab what you can, or even for good people to maybe just put your head down and wait for the storm to pass. But this man, Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson, inspires us to take a harder path. And because if we don't step up, no one else will. How fortunate we were that Jesse Jackson answered that call.
He talks about stepping up. Again, this is the president of the United States of America for 8 years. So all of these things that he's talking about, he had an opportunity to fix. When he talked about some Americans not being counted, it was actually the president that's currently in office, Donald Trump Donald Trump Sr., who stated that Black Americans built this country and we deserve the most credit. The Kenyan Irish president never told us that. The Kenyan Irish president never told us that we were full Americans. Instead, he stands in front of us and grandstands and insinuates that we are not being counted in our own country because the Democratic Party builds its power through denigrating and diminishing the impact of the Negro in this country. This was a very disrespectful message to say over the casket of Jesse Jackson, a man who did not like Barack Obama. Okay, did not like him at all. He said he did not like how he spoke to Black people. He said that he was not good for us and that he wanted to cut his nuts off. Okay, from there, Barack Obama locked up Jesse Jackson Jr. He really took the entire political power base from the Jacksons on the South Side that was rooted in Black Baptist theology and gave it to these socialist weirdos. So we know exactly who Barack Obama is, and this was a bad way for him to try to re-ingratiate himself back into Black Chicago because, again, he's coming home. Rahm is coming and Obama is coming because the work that we're doing out here on the ground has really woken up the people, and now we're saying that we are not feeling these Democrats anymore, and if we leave the Democratic Party, now Barack Obama becomes obsolete. So this was his way of reintroducing this power grab that he's about to do, in my opinion.
So I want to swing to Al Sharpton. Did you stay for that one? Or did
no, ma'am. Al Sharpton was at the end. Once Joe got up, I'm like, let's go. We out of here.
I'm not even touching Joe Biden because I just
Jim Crow Joe, me and Jim Crow Joe. He's Jim Crow Joe. Never forget. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. So I want to play 2 clips of Reverend Al, because he's the biggest phony of them all, and grifter and scammer.
Yes.
I've heard all through our service, first giving honor and regard to the Jackson family and to the matriarch of liberation, Mrs. Jacqueline Lavinia Jackson. As I listened and thought about, everyone quoted the slogan of Reverend Jackson, but I want to, in my few minutes, and if you take Brother Biden's minutes and other minutes, I come out of the Jackson School of Thought. They told me 4 minutes, which means 8 in Jacksonian language. I don't want us, Yusef, to leave here having mourned and then mock what Jackson was all about. We're sitting here acting like our own lack of rising to what he wanted us to be is the reason we are sitting on the brink of some of the most serious reconstruction behavior being rescinded that we've seen in modern times. To leave here and not follow an assignment would not be what Jesse Jackson taught us. To make us feel good, we went to Jesse Jackson's funeral, and that we said nice things about Mrs. Jackson, but people at the same time are killing illegal immigrants. People at the same time are cutting public funding. At the same time, Affordable Care Act is not being renewed and seniors have to deal with premiums. Don't sit here so holy and sanctified and act like you have no assignment yourself. Jesse and Jacqueline Jackson did theirs. Do you realize they were born, he in South Carolina, her in Florida, when it was against the law? I'm not talking about a custom. It's against the law to ride in certain buses. Against the law to use a toilet downtown. Against the law for you to eat in certain restaurants. And these two Southern-born, raised in Southern American apartheid, went on and put 2 of their sons in Congress, broke down barriers of voting. They did theirs. They planted a platform that led to an empowerment, and we are the generations behind them that have returned to those that were against us being empowered. Oh, they went against the Southern bigots in the overalls. We're dealing with manicured Fifth Avenue bigots.
Did you hear him?
I heard him, yes. Talking about illegal immigrants in a room full of Negroes where immigration is not our issue and it actually hurts us the most. See, again, they knew that this was going to be a gathering of Black voters. And so they wanted to use this opportunity.
We have got to the point.
Oh, wait, sorry. Give me 1 second.
Where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is.
Took me on the.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so they knew that this was going to be a gathering of Black voters. And so they decided to turn this into a DNC rally rather than talk about Reverend Jackson. Do you understand that they said the word immigrant and Donald Trump and all that kind of stuff more than they said Jesus Christ? More than they said God? More than they said Reverend Jackson? More than they said Operation Push? Like, their goal was not to come here and honor Reverend Jackson, and that's what made it disgusting to me, because there are so many stories that we could tell. I got Jesse Jackson stories, okay? The first speech I ever gave in my life is I Am Somebody. That was at my preschool graduation. So, like, we all got a little Jesse Jackson in our lives, and they could have used this opportunity to talk about his leadership, what he gave to our country, what we've lost as a people, how we need to fill that void. Instead, they were campaigning for the 2026 midterms. And that's not okay, because they literally, Jesse Jackson Jr. and his siblings literally asked them not to do this. Jesse Jackson Jr. is running for Congress right now. Jonathan Jackson is running for Congress right now. So if they wanted this to be a campaign moment, they could have even centered it on his sons. But they didn't do that. They were here to push a message for a political party that has harmed our people. And that's disrespectful.
On Goree Island, he showed me where the slave camps were. And I will never forget, he said, Al, you see what that artifact is? I said, what's that? He said, they call it the door of no return. When you go through that door, you either made it to America to slavery or you died in the Atlantic. The door of no return. But I talked to him about 3 years ago, and I reminded him, I said, remember when you brought me to the door of no return? He said, yeah. I said, well, we did return. We returned the President of the United States, Barack Obama. We returned the Vice President, Kamala Harris. We returned with businessmen. They thought they sent us as slaves. We came back as global liberators. The problem is that too many of us did not join the movements that sponsored us. And there was a breakout in 2024 called Negro Amnesia, where you forgot where you came from and forgot how you got where you got. Therefore, they're trying to take back everything you have. I asked Michael Eric Dyson, our prominent scholar, where in history is this? He said, we always go one step forward and two backward. Well, here we are now. The problem is not Trump. The problem is us. We are allowing ourselves to be lowered and our children to feel inferior because you don't have an I am somebody person. You got our artists calling our women bees. Our others calling us niggas. What happened to us? What happened to black and proud? What happened? I'm gonna vote. What happened? Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. What happened to us?
You nigga.
We believed our way. And we had the faith to do it. And that's why my challenge to you is that we should do what Jesse Jackson did. Not look at what you can see, but look at what you can believe even if you can't see it. Sitting up here talking about, oh, they got all the power, we can't win. We gotta win. Because they put the seeds of victory in us. If we just nurture them and grow, Hakeem Jeffries be the Speaker of the House. If we keep on winning, we'll get.
And that's enough of that shit. 1 second. He is what happened to Black America. He's a con artist. He's a grifter. He's full of shit. Go ahead, Peter.
Yes, ma'am. So again, in 2024, when we got President Trump back in office, we forgot that we were supposed to be Democratic shields. That's what he's saying here. And again, it's disrespectful. Nobody forgot who we were. I lived in Senegal. I was at Boré, okay? I speak Wolof. That's my second country in the world, okay? I'm a global citizen, American nationalist. However, we don't need people like him anymore. This era is done. When they put the reverend in the ground, that's it. Al Sharpton is off the stage. You are not the new Jesse Jackson. Leave us alone. And I think it's very interesting that he stated that we did come back and we came back with Barack Obama. Barack Obama is not a West African. He's a Kenyan Irish man. He has no ties to West Africa, the door of no return, the transatlantic slave trade. That's not Barack Obama's business. He's just as foreign to that experience as any white man. Okay, and I'm not saying that he is a white man. I'm just saying that's not his business. But this was their goal, because now we're also in an era of delineation. This is why he wanted to tie Kamala and Barack Obama back to the people, because we were saying all throughout the campaign that these are not our tribesmen. These are not a part of our group. We don't know these people. So again, the goal for this, in my opinion, for this event was to reel the Negroes back into the Democratic Party. They're saying that they want to take stuff from us. Who's taking stuff from us? The only person that is taken from us on a large scale is Barack Hussein Obama Jr. That's who did it. And when you go up and down the street, all these vacant lots, Obama did that. The Democratic Party did that to us. So why would they sit here and lie on top of this man's corpse and say that we got to come back? And now we got to remember that, you know, they're calling us niggas. How do you say that in the pulpit standing behind the cross? These people have no respect, Dana. And that's what blows me, because these are the elders. These are literally the elders, the ones who are supposed to keep order in the community, order in the church. But they put their alliance and allegiance to the Democratic Party above everything else, to the detriment of our people. Listen, I mean, would you want somebody speaking at your granddaddy's funeral like this?
No, absolutely not. And, you know, and these are the same people that put Black America in disarray.
Correct.
To fill their own pockets with money and to collect their own to collect power, access for themselves and their family. So the elders in the room, of course, they're going to fall for it because that's their generation. Our generation and younger, you know, it's a new wave. We not falling for it. So, you know, that's, like you said, laying Jesse Jackson to rest. That's the end of that era. Now it is up to us and our responsibility to create a new and better era for Black America and America as a whole. One more
Correct.
clip.
We're not going to do any more victim talk, because even in that room, Dana, we had 3 former U.S. presidents and a vice president. So all of these people had all the power to fix all of these issues. So their speeches were actually an indictment on themselves. Donald Trump has been in office now for what? We are in March. So for 14 months, he's been in office, okay? But we had 8 years of Obama, 8 years of Clinton, 4 years of Biden, 8 years of a Biden vice president, 4 years of a Kamala vice president. Why didn't they fix these issues? Because they didn't want to. Because if you fix the issue, then you can no longer trauma bond and host pity parties.
This is the last clip, and this is very short because her whole speech was just irrelevant. But I did find it funny that she was introduced as the first Indian. So she's leaving the black alone now. She's not black no more. She's going back to her roots, Indian. But this is just a quick clip here.
Let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now. I'm not into saying I told you so, but we did see it coming. Let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now.
Bitch, if you could predict that good, why couldn't you predict you losing? Or why didn't you predict you winning?
Where were your psychic powers then? You know, this is a Baptist church. In a Baptist church, you start speaking to the people by saying, I want to give an honor to God, who's the head of my life, and to all the ministers in the room. That's how you start a Baptist speech. But again, they were not at church. They were at a campaign rally. And for her to sit here and say, see, I told y'all, no, honey, we happy that you're not in office here in Chicago, because had you been in office, we would have been in a worse off position. You'd have had all these illegals here living on top of us, kicking in people's doors, trying to commandeer their houses. We put an end to that by getting her off the stage. So that's what I'm saying, because remember when she was campaigning, she said she grew up in a Black Baptist church in San Francisco. Her mom took her there so they can get their Black experience. So she know better than this too. But they don't care, Dana. And that's why I'm saying this whole funeral, again, was to honor Reverend Jackson, but it was to put this whole political movement to rest. Nobody's buying it anymore. We are happier. We are freer. We are moving on. We have been empowered to say that we are not going to find comfort in chaos anymore. Okay, we don't have to. We have a president in office that directly listens to us, gives us what we need straight on the ground. And maybe, you know, Reverend Jackson was doing something similar. He's a lucky Libra like us. And you know that we're very diplomatic people. So he was able to go in, shake a hand, make a friend, and come on out. You heard Al Sharpton say that people want to work with the power rather than, or go in, scoop up what they can, and come out. Or maybe that was Barack Obama. Because, you know, that's what I always say. Well, I'm going to go in there, scoop up what I can, bring it back to the house. No, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to fight. No, baby, we in a democracy. In a democracy, people have to come together, shake hands, make friends, see what type of middle ground you can come up with, and then take the spoils of your conversation back to the people that you represent. That's American government. But these people are not pushing for a democratic type of government. They want a socialist type of government where they tell you how to think, they tell you how to do it, and if you don't do what they tell you to do, then there are repercussions behind that. And you can't whoop me. You know, I'm serious. I'm not about to pick no switch. So no, we're not listening to these people anymore. But I will say that the Jacksons handled this with grace. Because not only did Jesse Jackson Jr. walk out, you know, I've seen different people moving in and out based on the speakers, because I don't think that people were really satisfied. By the time we were leaving, and this is when Joe was on the stage, people were leaving by the droves. So I don't even think, I mean, yes, it was a long funeral, because, you know, like Aretha Franklin's funeral, this was a fume, not a funeral, a fume. So the fume takes all day. However, the messaging was a turnoff to the people. Nobody left there feeling empowered. Nobody left there like, yes, I'm ready to go out here because I am somebody. No, they were not talking about I am somebody. They were pushing us back to the donkey. And that's over. It is done. It is done. The Jacksons, I'm sure, I'm positive, will have a lot to say about this, especially because they're running for office. And they are well aware that the people of the city of Chicago at least were not satisfied with this. We did not ask them to come in and, you know, basically disrespect us and say that we're stupid for moving on politically, because that's what these speeches were. Every speech after speech after speech was like, y'all are moving on and y'all don't know what y'all doing. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Come back over here because those people are the boogeyman. And we no longer believe in the white Republican boogeyman. I know that when I went to the Black History Month reception at the White House, President Trump spoke about Reverend Jackson. And he said that that's my friends. Okay, y'all might know him, but that's my friends. And I can tell y'all, the older he got, the better he got. Because when we were young men, we were a mess. You know, like that's his real life buddy. He helped get Operation Push off the ground by funding them. Jesse Jackson worked with President Trump when he was just Donald Trump in New York to get Black people more access on Wall Street. That helped me. I had an internship on Wall Street in 2008. I was there when the market crashed and Barack Obama started rolling out this play. So I mean, these are things that I just think that they could have really highlighted. They could have spoke about, or someone did speak about how, and I think this was Isaiah Thomas. He also gave a really good speech. Shout out to the West Side of Chicago. Isaiah Thomas is the former captain of the Detroit Pistons, and he's also from the West Side of Chicago, so he knows Reverend Jackson at that level. And he said, you know, as he was coming up here in Chicago playing basketball, he's from the West Side, so he was a little rough in the street because the Thomases are a huge West Side family. So, you know, they get outside and do their, and Reverend Jackson pulled him to the side and was like, yo, you somebody, okay, stop, get yourself together, focus on your ball, you know what you got to do, and that helped him. So, you know, people talked about how that was an empowering speech. He was not up there to, you know, shield for the Democratic Party, but these people, this was their last pitch to talk directly to Black America because they knew that there was a huge audience. Now they can get up there, they can do all this fear mongering, they can reference slavery, they can talk about, Al Sharpton said he's trying to undo Reconstruction stuff. What?
Yeah, I'm just like, yo, like, you the last nigga to talk anything about Reconstruction, about slavery, about Black progress. You just the last. And they knew that cameras of every legacy news outlet was filming this live on
Correct.
YouTube, on the news, on everywhere. So yeah, they used his funeral as a political standoff against Trump and against Republicans, and that is so disgusting.
Disgusting.
And this is why I would never support none of these people up there that went up there. So listen, tell us about your campaign, where people can go to support, to donate, and also if you live in Chicago and District 7, get out and vote for P-Ray, vote for that change. So tell us quickly about the campaign.
All right, P-Ray for 7. As you can see, this is the Chicago skyline. This is my district, okay? My district goes from Manheim, which is in the western suburbs, all the way to the lake, and then going south through the South Loop, Bronzeville, Inglewood, and Washington Park. This campaign is going very, very well, Dana. I'm outside talking to the people, and they are with what I am saying. I went to a high school the other day because I do some tutoring during the week for the children, and I saw a woman, when I went to the desk to sign in, the woman got on the phone. She said, the congressman here. I said, "Ooh, me?" She said, "Yes, you better get used to hearing that, girl. You are a congressman. You the one we support. You the one we stand behind. We know you're going to get up there and do what you got to do for us. We with you, girl. Vote red instead." And I'm like, wow, thank you. So it's going really well. This event yesterday really helped out my campaign, I believe, because it showed Black people that, once again, these folks do not respect nor like us. I'm telling people about the housing issue, as I've been stating now with you for, I think we've been together now for like 2 years or so, or almost 2 years. You know, we have this housing crisis that is a big, huge deal. And as I'm outside talking to constituents, especially the Black men, they are most concerned about the housing issue because the Black men are saying that now they need housing as well. They said, we need housing. Everybody's talking about the women, but we taking care of these kids now. And if I go down there, they're going to tell me where the mama at. So no, make sure that you get some housing for the men as well. So we're going to expand the platform to include that as well, because they are also a part of this 120,000 family waiting list that the Chicago Housing Authority has. They're very impressed with my plan to federalize this agency and then bring in the Army Corps of Engineers to lead the labor so that we can get this done quickly and spur entrepreneurship and jobs. They love it. When I go to the more white areas, because you know Chicago's segregated, when I go into the white areas and I'm talking about the Medicaid reimbursement issue and how we have this 20-year life expectancy gap in the district, not because of the behaviors of Negroes on the west side of Chicago, but because of decisions that they've made at the bank that we are not aware of at all. So we have to retool how healthcare institutions get funding, because Congress legislates credit rules, and that's directly my job. And we are the home of the Illinois Medical District, which is the largest medical district in America. So this legislation will directly affect where we are, because it's also in my district, and help people live longer. So they're loving it. I'm loving it. Everybody catch the wave. P-Ray for Congress, prayforcongress.com. Please go and contribute. Every dollar goes to buy stuff like this. This is what we have in the windows. These are also stapled all around the west side. I have big signs as well, like the huge ones that are on fences now. Nobody's really taking my stuff down, which is surprising, because at first I'm like, okay, I put up this Republican stuff. What are the people going to say? And, you know, if I come tomorrow, will it still be here? And it's still there. So that tells me that there's an appetite for what I'm saying, because typically if you put up something, especially stuff that says vote Republican, you know, if someone has something, it'll just have something like this. It won't have like go red, vote Republican. But this is a very Republican sign, and nobody's bothering it. People are actually asking for them. So this is going to be very surprising to the country, because they're really going to see how fed up we are in this district with the mismanagement that we've experienced my entire life.
Well, thank you, P-Ray. I really appreciate you always coming on, and I'm definitely going to have you back on. And guys, go to the website. It's in the description and in the comment section below. Go donate and support and vote. And we will see you in the next video.
Vote red instead.
They ain't know what the data. They ain't know what the data.